All right, welcome back, guys, to the SGPN Fantasy Football Podcast Show on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. We're presented to you by WynnBET. WynnBET is now live in Arizona, Colorado, Indiana, Louisiana, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Tennessee, and Virginia. From boosted same-game parlays to live in-game odds, WynnBET has exactly what you need to win. If you sign up today, you bet $100, you're going to get a $100 free bet at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WynnBET. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET. State restrictions apply. We're going to continue our running back series. We're doing our NFL draft profiles. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. We've already completed our consensus top 5 running backs. This is our consensus 6th running back. And this is the Tank Bigsby episode. Brad, let's talk about Tank Bigsby.
Yeah, all right. So Tank Bigsby was a 4-star recruit and the number 4 overall running back in the 2020 class. Coming in at 6 foot, 213 pounds. He really showed up and produced as soon as he touched the field, with the head coach being Gus Malzahn. However, when that kind of transferred over, we saw a little bit of change in his utilization. He was relegated into a little bit of a timeshare with Jaquez Hunter. But even in that timeshare, he totaled over 3,300 all-purpose yards and double-digit touchdowns over the last 2 seasons. And I would argue he's probably one of the best pure runners in this class. So, Dave, 3 pros, 3 cons, and a player comp.
Yeah, Tank Bigsby is a guy that I was really, really thinking that he's probably going to move up my rankings as the offseason goes and we learn more about him. The changes over in Auburn and with the quarterback, with the coaching, all that really does, affect what's going on. And he still was an extremely productive running back in the SEC. My first pro is pure runner. He's up there with one of the top runners in this class. He had 95 broken tackles. This guy has the speed. He's one of the faster running backs, and he's got the size. He has everything you're looking for in one of these in a running back, and you have the creativity, the patience. One thing as a Giants fan, he does remind me a lot of Wayne Gallman when we saw him a couple years ago, and I know people are like, "Whoa, that don't really want." Well,
that's kind of damning, Dave.
The shoulder shake, the one cut jab, and go. I mean, Wayne Gallman was a beast that year, and he looks better than Saquon Barkley in that offense. As bad as the offense was, almost had 1,000 yards rushing. And so with Tank Bigsby, I love the speed. When he puts his foot in the ground and cuts up, he's gone. He can outrun. He looks like Sonic with the legs. He's got short strides. He's really creative. You see with not only the jab step, being able to press the hole to cut outside. He knows how to set up his blocks. He is ahead of some of the other running backs in this class where he is able to be one step ahead of the competition. And as far as the cons, receiving game, you got to see more work in the receiving game. He didn't have the, not only the receptions, but the yards after the catch that you want to see. So I'd like to see him become more adept as a receiver, running routes, being more comfortable in that part of his game. And kind of like the Wayne Gallman part of it, he runs a little high. And so when you got your shoulders up high, you make a pretty easy target for some of those linebackers and safeties to tee off. I think if he gets his shoulders down, it'll help him out. And his production, although the production is in the SEC, which is really nice versus some of these other guys that run for 2,000 yards against, much lower competition, you still would like to see a guy that has multiple 1,000-yard seasons and, a little bit more production than what we've seen from Tank, especially with his, with his recruiting. My comp for him is Cam Akers. And so Cam Akers was a guy who was, really struggled in college. We knew he was an extremely athletic guy, and we projected him out to be one of the top backs in the class before the Achilles injury. I do think that Cam Akers is what I see with Bigsby. He's a little bit of a taller runner. He runs, pad level's a little high, but that jab move, how he gets up the field, the little shoulder shake. I mean, all the stuff that he does, it just reminds me a lot. And he's got some serious speed when he gets in the second level.
Yeah, and most people probably hear the words Cam Akers and don't get excited, but go back and look at the last 5 or 6 games of the season, and you'll see Cam Akers kind of did what we all kind of were hoping or projecting that he was going to do coming out of Florida State when he got drafted by the Rams. So I think that's a really good comp. I like it, and I feel like we're going to end up being a little spoiled by these running backs, to be completely honest. I really think this is a pretty deep class at the running back position. When you look at it from a production perspective, again, you talked about, hey, look, maybe it's a little bit of a con. You want multiple 1,000-yard seasons. This is another guy who demanded, as a freshman, a lot of carries and gave a lot of production as a freshman. Over 800 yards, 5 touchdowns, caught the ball a few times. Like you said, he's not giving you huge yards after the catch or anything like that. But this is, all these running backs that we've talked about have given a pretty solid 3 seasons, right? Whether you look at Jahmyr Gibbs at Georgia Tech and Alabama, good freshman season. You look at Sean Tucker, good freshman season. Zach Charbonnet, all these guys have really solid freshman years. And that's not always the case. A lot of times, some of these high-end running backs in these drafts are guys that had one explosive season. And you're like, okay, well, is that the norm? With Tank Bigsby, again, we've seen it 3 years in a row. We've seen him produce on the field. I know it's not, elite production. He's not getting 250 carries a season like we see some of these other guys getting. But if you can project a workload for this guy and he goes into a really good situation, you may find yourself an absolute steal in Tank Bigsby.
Yeah, and you're seeing these, offenses where there's more rushing from the quarterback and then more passing, where you're not utilizing the running backs like you used to. You're also seeing some committee approaches. So you're not seeing that. And so I think it's going to, you're going to have to project some of these running backs. What's really nice is you're not having guys come in like Ezekiel Elliott and Saquon Barkley with, 1,000 rushes on their, like these guys are coming in with a lot of tread on the tire that's left, versus in the past where you have these guys come in and they've been worked to the ground in college. And so I am excited for that with Bigsby. And I really do like his combination of size and speed. You have someone that is, almost 215 pounds. He's one of the fastest running backs in the class. At that size, I think he can do a lot. And I know I said the receiving game was concerning. 30 catches is pretty damn good every year. All right, well, thanks for tuning in on this episode. Again, check out the rest of our running backs and our quarterbacks. We'll be doing this all season, so make sure you guys subscribe, give us a like, and comment. Let us know your player comp. Let us know if we are too high, too low. And as always, good luck this season.